Welcome to the Man Cave Podcast with Dan Kasper.
Hit up some local sports roundup because I know Brandon kind of talked about it a little bit on Friday, but now with school back in session, probably a little bit more of a regular schedule with a lot of the prep games and such, but maybe a good note too if we are going to have some winter weather with icy roads that may affect some games coming up here too.
I mean,
but
if anybody drove back from Minneapolis, we were lucky because the rain was done by the time we got here.
Mm-hmm.
Then that's the only place we ran into ice, but yeah. Once we got into Eau Claire, it was a little dicey around city limits here as anybody who was around. But
exactly.
Yeah, so check your scheduling, go to the conference websites, and you'll usually be able to find out if something's going on.
Yeah, so I know there was some stuff going on, the last few days, but this is pretty much now we're getting into the regular flow, back to the regular flow of a lot of this stuff.
Basically the next month and a half, your conference games, then you get into playoffs here. So it's the second half of that winter season.
Right.
And it gets, kind of fun this week. I know one game, it's kind of cool. It's going to be the 50th anniversary of Eau Claire North and Memorial Hockey.
Nice.
50th year that they've been meeting. So that'll be on Thursday night at Hobbs.
Okay.
So they're doing a big thing. I know down there, I think it's Rays, that they're having a little get-together before, and then
perfect spot to do it.
Yep. And then they're doing, they're going to have big stuff at the game. I know because it was like the ECA Stars the week before celebrated their 20th year as well. So it's kind of neat to see these hockey programs and just seeing what they started as. And now, you get a 50th anniversary meeting between North and Memorial on the ice and a rivalry that's always been kind of fun.
Absolutely. So that'll be definitely good. Last night, though, for football, just to the west of us, River Falls national champs, they got into a 14-3 hole, but that offense, you can't slow that offense down, and their defense stepping up too, not allowing any more. And this was a perennial powerhouse they went up against, North Central.
Six straight
appearances, I believe.
Yeah.
So down to 14-3, but they come back and win 24-14, capturing their first national championship. So what a turnaround this program has gone the last few years, too.
It is amazing, and I don't know if anybody was watching the broadcast to see Walker talk after the game and talking about how he was on teams that didn't win games. They won 3 games his first 3 seasons, went 0-10 that third season.
Yeah.
If you're him, you got to be thinking to yourself, okay, what are my chances? We're going on a downward trend, but credit to the River Falls athletic staff for sticking with him, seeing his vision, and it took a while. And then he's talked about how during COVID, him and his coaches just redrew the whole offensive game plan.
Yeah.
And my goodness, since then, it's just the trajectory that they've been on to get to the ultimate height there of getting the championship is amazing. So credit to his staff, and obviously credit to the players. Just a great group of loaded players. Caleb Blaha, we're not going to probably ever see a quarterback like him again in this in the WIAC, like the numbers he puts up and what he can do with his feet. Winning the Gagliardi Award from St. John's for the Heisman basically of D3 football.
Yep.
And you saw why in that game, especially that last touchdown there, and the defense they had too. They talked about how that defense had to be good because they were on the field a lot. If the way they play offense. If they go 3 quick, they're only on the sidelines for about a minute and a half, and they're back out on the field.
Right.
There hasn't been too many times when they went out 3 quick, 3 and out. But, yeah, so just everything that they've put together, worked out, playing in the toughest conference, iron sharpens iron, and then going to play a perennial powerhouse, probably even with River Falls winning, it's still probably the best D3 school right now, football-wise, in North Central, and getting the win.
Yeah.
What else do you got to prove? That is pretty amazing.
It is. And I know, we had some people kind of chiming in as the River Falls quarterback going to get pro. I'm sure, pro days or such, you never say never.
No,
but,
you never say never.
I mean, we've seen D3 football players, and, remember Isaiah Cage, lineman for the Blue Goals and such, so I wouldn't be surprised to see him in like a training camp or preseason.
Oh, I wouldn't be surprised. He's an athlete too. Like, so he, I think guys will look at that, especially what he can do with his feet. It's like, and if he's not a quarterback, what they can do with him, at another position. But I think he'll get a look. And it is a tough, you don't see many D3 quarterbacks get a shot, but I think you do what he does, and what did he pass? What did he pass for all-time like touchdowns in a season as a quarterback or yards in a season? So why am I blanking on the name? Bengals quarterback.
Burrow?
Thank you, Joe Burrow. I kept thinking Herbert, and I'm like, no, it's not Herbert. It's not Herbert. Joe Burrow, like he passed him for most yards.
Wow.
Like 6,000 yards or something like that. It is just, yeah. Wow. So I think if you're any scout, you're going to look at that and say, okay, let's give them a look. Right. Look at some of those wide receivers they have on that team are some bigger guys too. You got that height, and some of those are, bigger guys that if you had to in the pros maybe could play tight end. So I think there'll be some guys that are, going to get some interest there. But, man, what a team. Right. What a team.
Yeah, absolutely. So, again, congrats to UW River Falls on securing that championship. So, Blue Golds wise, I know basketball, they got into their conference play over the weekend too. The men's team suffering their first loss to Stevens Point, 78-75. But the women's team continuing their awesome start. They did pick up a win against Stevens Point. So both the Blue Gold basketball teams with just one loss total on the season.
And I think if you're the men's team, that's a tough way to start conference. But I think they know everyone. I talked to them after their last non-conference game. They know what the war is going to be in the WIAC. Coming up this year, it's going to be just every game is going to be like that.
Yeah,
and they got a taste of it right there off. Going over and playing it on Bennett Court there and losing a tough one, but you hung with them. A lot of conference yet to be played.
It's a talented Point team too.
Yeah. Oh, exactly. I mean, up and down. We just talked about it with the football. I mean, you look at the basketball this year, it is going to be, for both the men's and women's, these are going to be some battles.
Yeah, and on the Stout side of things, too, I mean, you have a Stout women's team that was just at the Final Four last year, too. I know they fell to Platteville over the weekend. Men's team also falling to Platteville as well. But, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see this being a close conference standings for both men's and women's basketball.
Lacrosse men's wise is ranked up there
top
too.
5
as well. You just go down up and down. There's going to be battle, and Stout has played very well on the men's side, women's side obviously too. Resetting with the women's side with the amount of players that they lost, but still, like we saw in non-conference, still showing off what they can do. The men's team played a lot of really close games. So I think getting the conference, they're a team that's like, people are probably going to try to underestimate them, but I see them knocking off some of these bigger opponents here because they can shoot. They can shoot. They have some experience guys inside as well.
I know, not to get too far ahead, but coming up, I think, is it on the 17th? Let me bring up 17th, that Blue Gold lacrosse game at Sonnentag, 5 p.m. men's game. That's going to be huge.
I looked at the schedule there, too. So you have that as the end of the first go-around. So then it's lacrosse in Eau Claire to end conference season as well. That one will be down in lacrosse.
Right.
So there's going to be, that could be for a lot of things. If it's not just, it'll be for seeding for sure. But if not for, you would love for it to come down to the conference.
Yep.
Granted, there's, I think, Platteville, Point, River Falls, Stout, Oshkosh,
yep.
They're all going to have Whitewater. They're all going to have things to say about that. But, man, that would be if I could draw it up, that's how I'd love to see it.
Yeah, absolutely. So, and I know hockey's going on, too, as we kind of start to, get into gear with that, too. But, heck, even indoor track and field. We've got events going on.
The hockey teams are playing very, very well. I know the women's team just got a win. Both teams actually just got wins over the weekend as well. So, I think going to the second half of their seasons too, we're going to have a lot of fun watching the Blue Golds here in the athletic realm.
Yeah, I mean for the women's team, they've got they're coming off that 7-0 win against Bethel University on Saturday. So St. Mary's already for a home and away this weekend, and you're talking about a little over a month left of the regular season for that. And then the men's team, they're coming off of wins against Stevens Point over the weekend. So
anytime they can beat Point too, that's a feather in their hat.
Yep. Especially, definitely. And then Milwaukee School of Engineering coming up this weekend too. And you're talking about a little over a month left of that regular season too.
Get into the WIAC tournament, which Man, for hockey, for all the sports, but man, hockey ones always seems to be a lot of drama, especially when the Blue Golds are involved. We've seen some epic matches there out on the ice there at Hobbs and wherever they've traveled.